Welcome to the Links Golf Club podcast, everybody. Your weekly live show about our wonderful club and the world of golf. I am Gregory, as always, joined by Cooper and Chris. This week, we bring on special guest to recap this past weekend's Hillcrest member trip to Kansas City. You're not going to want to miss those deets there. And also, they went to Arbor, so there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about from the last couple of days. We also talked the Procore, everyone's favorite off-field event, and check in on the courses we've played recently with a little bit of a Punchbowl update with Chris. So, guys, how you feeling? How you doing?
Good. I'm wondering, is Bossy with us? You didn't mention.
That's a good
no
question.
Bossy this
that's
week?
That's gonna be a terrible way to announce that she passed away. You know, don't she's just not here. No, Bossy's sleeping on the bed right here. She is in her zero phase. She only has 2 or a 0 or 1. She's in her 0. She's just laying down. She's sleeping, and she seems unbothered. We'll have to talk about the performance there, but glad she's not dead. How y'all doing? How y'all doing otherwise?
Good. You'll notice this is not my standard background. Happy to be joining y'all from the parking lot at Paramount. We have our Links member hosted Battle of the Hudson today. It's going to be a New York team versus a New Jersey team. Really excited. Shout out to Links regional captain Phenom Jones for setting this up. But we got some members over here getting ready to battle it out on the course. So really excited about that.
Let's go. How do you like the team? Like, you're on the Jersey team?
I'm repping Jersey for this. Yeah, I think we are like total handicap like about 5 behind the New York team, so we're gonna have to give up some strokes. I like our chances. I like our chances coming in today. Obviously, it's on home turf for New York, but I feel like we have some good energy coming in.
Yeah, the style of golf is so different between New York and New Jersey.
It's really, you know. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
What a state boundary can do for strategy. Well, good luck. Hope you all do a fantastic job. I don't know who to root for. I don't have a dog in the hunt, so I'm just going to root for fun and a good game. And but it's such a cool example of what one of these community events can be, right? So if anyone's out there listening, you live in a spot, you want to set one of these up, reach out, because Phenom Jones done an incredible job sort of bringing this to life. Went really above and beyond on making this like not only just an event where people hang out, but like a true competition, which is sweet. But if you want to set up one of these in your area, let us know. We are happy to help in any way that you can, but it's really there for you to, take the reins and get some other Links members together and play some golf in real life. So Coop, enjoy. Chris, how you feeling?
Feeling good. I mean, a lot of events, man. Spay Bay event, then Kansas City event, Arbor Links event, member hosted events, going on all over the place, but feeling good. Lots going on. Lots to talk about today. Wish I was out there playing golf with Cooper, but sometimes the stars just don't align. Got to grind on the pod, but it's how it goes. But feeling good.
Sometimes life gets in the way. But the good news is that when you get some additional money, you can participate in golf events. And one of the best ways to do that is, I think, something, Chris, that you're going to tell us about right now, which is the Gemini credit card.
Might you be referring to the Gemini credit card?
Yeah. The worst segue ever. Yes. So go ahead.
Yes, this is a great thing if you like golf and if you like benefiting from going to play golf. So, as you probably know by this point, today's podcast is sponsored by the Gemini credit card, the only instant crypto rewards credit card on the market, and hands down one of the best credit cards if you love golf. Today, if you sign up, you get a $200 sign-up bonus. That's kind of always there. You get it in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or over 50 other cryptos. And this summer, through the end of this month, Gemini is giving 10% back in crypto on all golf course transactions. So Cooper, in the parking lot of a golf course right now, about to go rack up some 10% back in crypto when he spends at the golf course. Pretty amazing. He's got the orange card going, as you can see. But yeah, it's going through the end of the month on up to $250 and spend each month. You get up to 10%. And on top of that, you get up to 4% back on just everyday purchases. So 4% back on, gas and rideshare, 3% back on dining. It really is a great kind of cashback card, but you get it in crypto, which is great because as Greg has just shown us on the screen here, Bitcoin rewards earned and held for 1 year on the Gemini credit card have appreciated 176% on average.
That's a lot of percent.
Yes, that is greater than 0%, as the chart shows. So you're investing as you spend. Truly a no-brainer. Great way to kind of just invest on the regular, not have to make active decisions, dollar cost average into things, whatever you want to do there. And get exposure to Bitcoin or other crypto without even having to buy it. You just earn it as you're spending. And of course, great for golfers. Get the 10% back through the rest of this month. Maybe some other promos coming in the future. So it's been a great card to have. Really cool. The rewards are instant, which is kind of wild. You spend on Amazon or in a store, and then you look at your app and they're already there. Really great product. So we're excited to have Gemini on board as a partner of ours and sponsoring this podcast. So if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like to sign up, go to gemini.com/linksdao. It's gemini.com/linksdao. You can get all the details. Really quick kind of credit check and approval process to get the card, and you can start spending right away. Get it on your Apple Pay or whatever, even before the card arrives. If you're trying to get in some of that golf course spend before September 30th. So I feel like we have to do this segment. What have people used their Gemini credit card for the past week? Greg, you're ready to go.
I'm itching to go. It's like hopscotch. I just had one transaction since last week. Bought a bucket of balls to warm up before a match that I played at 12 Stones, which is a golf course just north of Nashville. Got there a little bit early, still kind of fighting some driver issues. So I got a large bucket of balls, spent $20, immediately got $2 back in Bitcoin. That felt great. Hit the ball pretty well in the range, and then ultimately got completely curb stomped in my match. I lost on the 15th hole, actually worse than my last one. But we're still exposing ourselves to competition. It's crazy. This has nothing to do with at least the $20 gave me $2, but yeah, we topped our driving iron off the first tee, and fought back a little bit. But the good news is I was able to get rewarded for a solid warm-up session, and that's what really matters. The true friends is the Bitcoin rewards that you earn along the way.
Love it. Coop, what about you?
Sure. Well, this pro shop hates to see me coming with my orange card. It's about to go down here at Paramount. I'm gonna hit it hard. Did take my parents out for a round. They were in town visiting. So guest fees right on the card. Easy money. Love the pull out the orange card in the pro shop. No one's asked me yet. Well, actually, the Snack Shack girl asked me about it because I was filming myself swiping it because content.
It might be the best ad so far.
What are you doing? And I'm like, oh yeah, I get crypto back for this hot dog.
Sorry, ladies, married.
Yeah, exactly. So she was not impressed by the fact that I was going to get 10 cents back on my hot dog, but it's a cool thing to pull out in the pro shop and know you're getting some crypto back from your purchases.
It reminds me of that. Have you seen the video? It's at a college basketball game. It's the guy showing the girl his Costco card, and she's like, "That we can replicate that meme for
you do it. Yeah, or you, the viewer, can do that as well. We'd love to see it. Make a meme with your Gemini card at the course.
There you go.
Love that. I was hopping around, from golf courses all weekend. We're going to talk about it, and buying gas as we're driving between them, paying for the rental car, ride shares, all that stuff, and earning some Bitcoin along the way. So yeah, it's a great card. Check it out, gemini.com/linksdao to learn more. And with that, what other announcements we got, Greg?
Yeah, I got a couple here. I'll let Coop sit in the seat on this one. Usually he's doing the announcements, but I'm going to give it a whirl here. Ryder Cup video is now live. Put a lot of love and care into that as a group. So check that out. Put the link down in the show notes. But it was really fun working on it because it meant that like for a solid, number of hours, I was able to relive, which is one of my favorite golf events I've ever attended. And so I hope that gives you a chance if you're like, what does it actually like to go to an event when you're, at Spade Bay? What is Spade Bay actually like on the ground? What is the actual community like? Do people even go to these events? Like you watch this video and you just see, a segment of both the Links Down and the Spade Bay community coming together and just obviously competing. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil what happened at the end, but it was about the competition. But I think the video also shows that like what it's really about are the relationships that we're able to develop with our new friends and the memories that we create over there. It sounds cliche, sounds sappy, but man, does it ring true. So check out that video if you haven't yet.
What was
already watched?
Greg, give us your favorite part?
I'm talking right now, Chris. I'm talking. What I was going to say is, and then I'll answer your question. Is if you have watched it, share it with some friends because I'm sure people are curious about like what the hell is this crazy internet community that you're a part of. It's a great example of what that looks like over in Scotland. So share it with 5, 10, 15, 20, 10,000 friends, whoever you want to send it with, send it to them so that they can see it too. Chris, what was your question?
What was your favorite part just as you were putting it together? Because you got to relive it even more than, the rest of us that are consuming the video.
Yeah. I think honestly, like the end was pretty touching just to like sit and watch how sincerely people enjoy being together and how much it means that we've been able to bring all these people together in Scotland and not only play golf, but also like make improvements to the club and everything else. So I think that was the part. I would say I watched the last like minute and a half the most after that came together because it really touched me. So that was my favorite part. There were also some, there's a lot of stuff that didn't make it into the video that was just kind of like funny, remembering, trees just like stunting on people and talking shit and like that kind of stuff. Some of it made it in, some of it didn't. And then a small part of this made it in, but the Sweet Caroline kind of karaoke in the clubhouse at the end of, I think, day 2. And it's clear to me why we didn't play well on the next day because it seems like people were there pretty late. So yeah, those are my favorites.
But we had fun.
Yeah, had a lot of fun. Had a great time. A couple other things here. Signature event, 2 days at Tree Farm on November 23rd. There are still some, but less than there were last time we talked, available. As always goes with these, you sort of like either they sell out immediately or like there's a big rush and then somebody at the end is like, actually, I can make it, and they do it. So if you've been holding out and waiting on going to Tree Farm, it is one of the absolutely highly regarded new courses in the United States. Seems like an amazing hang. We're all going to be down there on November 23rd. So if you've ever thought about it or you've wanted to play it, you don't know anybody who's a member, or you don't have a connection, it's a great way to do it. Staying on property, having a great time, 2 days. And by the next time we talk, I would imagine that some more of these are going to sell. So if you're wanting to do it, don't wait, is what I'm trying to say. Last thing, Paramount CC, as we said earlier, is today. So you've lost your chance to participate in that, but definitely be on the lookout for future ones. And if you want to organize one, like we said earlier, just go ahead and give us a shout in Discord, and we'd be happy to help you there. And then now there are only 2 spots left at Sweeten's. Another person RSVP'd yesterday. So again, if you wanted to play Sweeten's Cove and you want to be down in Tennessee and you want to hang out with some cool people, go ahead and do that on November 18th. But make sure that you RSVP soon because I fully expect those to be out probably by the next time that we talk. And then lastly, Coop's going to do a Links Millionaire drawing tonight. So he can talk more about that. That'll be in Discord. But one of our Links Millionaires is going to win something tonight. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Stack your links, register your wallet or link your wallet in Discord, and we'll do that drawing this evening. We're going to give away another Links hat and a mystery prize. So get in there, tune in, probably 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern in Discord when I'm home from Paramount. So you got some time to get your Links coin in order, get registered in Discord, but it's going to be fun. We do this every 2 weeks. Links coin, the official coin of golfers everywhere. So get yours today.
Sure. Awesome. All right, Coop. Well, we're going to let you go here, and we're going to bring our very special guest onto the stage. So play well, hit him straight, or bend him if you need to. Show the entire state of New Jersey what you're all about. Good luck.
Will do. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Sounds good. See you later. All right, Kevin, welcome. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing awesome. Thanks for taking the time to come on. This is your first time on the Links Golf Club podcast, so we're very, very happy to have you. Anything you want to tell the listeners about before we dive into this recap of the Hillcrest trip?
Well, I was a little bit nervous coming online, so I had to bring a friend. And so I actually brought my 60 degree that I just got from Callaway here.
Nice.
So it treated me very nicely over the last week. But yeah, great to be on.
Love it.
For having me.
Comfort blanket, kind of, keep you calm.
I was thinking a little bit more like Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men with his baseball bat. You know how he thinks a little bit better when he's holding it. It's like me with my wedge. So
Love it. Is that your favorite club in your bag?
after this past week, yes, it's definitely not my driver, but the driver was not a Callaway purchase, so no issues there. They'll be replaced as soon as I figure out my swing.
Yeah, I get that. If you figure something out, please let me know, because I'm in a similar situation with the driver. We can't all be Chris. We can't all hit the ball, 320 yards down the fairway perfectly every time. So that's
actually his 5-iron that hits that far.
He's got speed. Cool. Well, let's talk about Hillcrest. I'm sure people are really excited to hear. We've been talking about for a while this Hillcrest member event. Kevin, you're a Hillcrest member. So a bunch of people went out there this past weekend, both to Kansas City to enjoy Kansas City, learn more about Kansas City. It's not a city that a lot of people have targeted as the first place they want to go to, but just number one, it's a great place. So like understand that place. 2, be able to kind of see more about Hillcrest, and then 3, go out to Arbor Links. So Chris, can you just kind of, for people who haven't been following along, can you just sort of walk through what the agenda of the event was? And then I'll just be here to listen, because I'm excited to hear from both of you how things went.
Yeah, we had kind of a packed itinerary for the weekend, but it was a ton of fun. So, we had a whole crew of Hillcrest members coming in to get a taste of the city and the course. So, from Friday through really the following Monday, we spanned all the various event activities. So, when we got in, we played Mission Hills Country Club, which is one of the top courses in the city today. Everyone could get a sense of what a top course in the area looks like, even down to, kind of the same turf that'll be at Hillcrest and, everything else. But so we got some golf in, night out on the town on Friday, visited some of the hot spots in town. Saturday morning, we did our kind of course tour of Hillcrest. So I think everyone on the trip coming in was seeing it for the first time, right? So I actually got to experience the land. We were with the kind of on-site team or, local team at Hillcrest. So, got a really good tour, see everything that's going on, what's happened, what's going to happen next, and get a good sense of how the course is coming together and just kind of how it's all going to piece together, which, was kind of the cornerstone of the trip and hopefully very, very fruitful for people. We'll get Kevin's thoughts on it. And then, we experienced the city. We wanted everyone to get a sense of the city that they'll be coming to visit when they're coming to Hillcrest in the future for hopefully many, many trips. So ate some barbecue, hit some of the bars and restaurants in town, got in some college football watching, and out on the town again on Saturday. And then a number of us went on to the Arbor Link signature event, which was it's outside of Omaha. So, just driving a little north. And so subset of us went up there, and some other folks joined us there as well that weren't in KC. And, got in some more great golf. So that's a Dormy Club venue. They do a great job, just, a great kind of place to go for a golf trip. And they're obviously great at hospitality. So we were there. It's similar to the Tree Farm event, that's coming up that you just mentioned, Greg. 2 days, 1 night, staying on site, kind of everything, packaged in there, which was a ton of fun. But it was a packed itinerary. And, hopefully we got a lot in for the folks that were joining. But so I guess, Kevin, would love to just get your recollections of the weekend. What were the highlights for you? What were, kind of your favorite parts? This was your first time to Kansas City. Is that right?
Yeah, it was my first time ever into Kansas City, and truthfully, I went not having much in the way of expectations. But as soon as we touched down, it was really pleasant being at an airport that was very comfortable with a lot of new amenities. I'm not used to that in the Bay Area. So great first experience, grabbed the bags, Uber driver literally picked me up a minute after I requested it and then dropped me off at the course. And that was the beginning of like a 72-hour whirlwind. There was the nicest member that was there right when I was dropped off at Mission Hills. And it actually turned out to be Billy Jack, who was the host of the entire 24-hour experience. And it just felt like I was on the red carpet walking in. I felt like a VIP from that moment on. It was just incredible. Mission Hills, great golf course. There's another member there, Matt, that I think was part of the group. And he could not have been a kinder person, but I was inspired after he made 3 birdies in a row on front 9. So it's not just nice people that are out there; they're actually sticks that can play the game.
For those that don't know, so Billy is part of the Hillcrest team, so very involved in everything. And, we partner closely with him, obviously, on everything going on at Hillcrest. So it was great. He was kind of a great host for us, both there, but, the course tour on Saturday as well. Would love to get your impressions just of the actual course itself. That was kind of the cornerstone of the weekend. Like I said, you were there for the first time. It's obviously a construction site currently, but you hopefully got a sense of just what's coming together. But what were your impressions? What were your takeaways from actually visiting Hillcrest itself?
Well, I think there's unfortunately a lot of people without imagination. So you need to see a finished product before you have an opinion about it. And I tried not to be that type of person. I want to be somebody that has a much, wider perspective. And so it was really incredible just kind of driving into the course. And I think one thing that I've shared in the past is like when I go play golf, I want to feel like I'm taken away from kind of the normal day-to-day. And the experience, even just driving into the Hillcrest Country Club, it felt like you were being transported to a different spot. Once we got into the parking lot, it's definitely a construction site. But Billy Jack and then I think Corey, the right-hand man, were kind of the 2 people that really led us on a guided tour. And I just had the most memorable experience over the next 90 minutes. We started out off at where the clubhouse is going to be dropped in. And we looked down 18, and what was fascinating is that we were at one of the highest points of elevation, and I think in the entire municipality. So just looking back across 18, you could see the Kansas City skyline in the distance. I think they said that there are 14 different microclimates across the course. Is that correct?
I don't. We'll have to verify that. I don't even.
It might have been 12. It might have been 16.
It was more.
It was double-digit microclimates, and so we actually did a walk. And I asked them, I'm like, hey, can you walk me down your favorite 3-hole, 4-hole stretch? And what was so cool is there was a lot of elevation change, and once you got kind of closer to the perimeter of the property where there's a lot more trees, a little bit lower elevation, it was really cool. Not as much wind when we were there, because I think we were there around 10 a.m., 10:30. But once you got up to kind of the ridge lines, it was just a much different experience. You had these incredible panoramas across the skyline. And I wish I had a better eye for actually playing the holes. I think some of you might be able to kind of envision, the challenge and the task on each shot. And the one thing that I know is even if I couldn't appreciate it yet, because I don't have the same vision and creativity, it just felt like I was surrounded by golf nuts that actually could really deeply appreciate it without it even being built yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the fun, right? You can get part of a sense of it now, and then, you'll get more next year, the first time you play it, and, kind of see it all come together. But yeah, that was certainly, I think that was one of our main takeaways, like when we visited back in March or whenever it was with a group, that you kind of get, there's different phases of the round when you're going through, right? And you saw that when you kind of start along the ridge and you finish along the ridge going to the clubhouse, but front 9 on one side, back 9 on the other, and you kind of traverse into these different areas on the property and everything. So you get different parts of the journey, like distinct parts of the round based on where you are, which is, makes for a fun round, makes for a good course, like at the end of the day, which is cool.
One other cool plug about it is it's not just the golf course, it's going to be the overall experience. And one thing I took away from the site walkthrough is they've actually dedicated enough land so you can hit full golf shots on the driving range. You can actually, if you're like Chris, and you can hit your 5-iron 300 yards or your driver 350 plus, there's enough room to play full golf balls, which is exceptional. Because the last thing you want to do is fly in and have to play those kind of yellow golf balls or short flighted. You know, it's like, what's really happening today? You don't know. At Hillcrest, you're not going to have that worry.
Yeah, I think it's one of the few, or maybe even the only course in the area that'll have like full on double-sided range, 400 yards, you know, kind of all the full pro style practice setup, which you don't get everywhere, especially older courses, right? It's certainly the case like where I am outside of New York City. It's all these old historic courses, which are awesome, but that means, you know, the land is condensed and, you know, it's been built up around it and everything else, which, you know, we've heard this a lot, probably said it a lot, but like at Hillcrest, you know, like you don't see a house on the course. It's surrounded by parkland. It is a pretty unique setup for being so close to a downtown and an international airport and all those things, which you got to experience. Absolutely. Greg, you were going to say something like.
Well, I was going to say, like, as someone who wasn't there, was there anything else that you learned while on property that maybe the listeners haven't heard, don't know, that maybe even Chris, you were surprised by? Like any other tidbits you can give us from having been on the ground?
There's just so much thought that's going into the whole build. I think one thing that we've heard about is that there's a little bit of climate change. And so when it rains, it's really pouring. And so the cool thing is there are golf nuts that are overseeing this renovation. So every last detail is going to be attended to. So if you happen to be there and there's torrential downpours in the morning, this course is going to dry out. And so it's going to be super playable just almost instantaneously. It's that type of kind of thought and technology that, you know, I'm very proud to, you know, be a founding member.
Awesome. Yeah, one of the we won't go through all the details on the pod. It's maybe less interesting when you're not on site, but, you know, we spent a lot of time talking through like the grades of land, how things are changing with the construction versus kind of what's happened over time, if there's any erosion and things like that, which ultimately make it a better playing experience, right? Which is cool. Well, Kevin, I know we have to get you out of here at some point soon. Any last parting thoughts, non-course thoughts, Kansas City thoughts?
Barbecue.
Favorite part of the weekend otherwise? Yeah, favorite barbecue dish, anything?
I love the burnt ends. I think, you know, the big question mark that I had, because I kind of bought the NFT on a whim, and then I was able to kind of join Hillcrest a little bit on a whim too. And it's, I guess, something in life where normally I'm pretty thrifty and cautious, but every once in a while you just got to kind of throw caution to the wind and kind of try something out. And the one thing I didn't know is who are going to be the other nuts that might be a part of this thing. And what was really cool was to kind of get to know some of the other people that were kind of as crazy and insane as me are actually fantastic people. And that's really, it's not just the golf, you know, it's the overall experience, and that experience is the community. And I feel very passionately that Linksdale brings great people together. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
And thank you to Nate for the Gatorades too at Hillcrest walkthrough. That was super thoughtful of you.
Nate, a casualty from the weekend, hurt his knee, still showing up, adding value. Love to see it.
Absolutely. Great. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time and hopping on. We'd love to see you again in the future. And hope to see you out at Hillcrest sometime soon. Play around out there.
Can't wait. Thank you, guys.
All right. See you later. All right. That was actually like a smooth transition to the 2 video. It's the first time we've used the 2 video in StreamYard.
I know. Learning something new every day.
Absolutely. Hey, so one other thing though, just because I'm interested in Kansas City culture stuff, where else did y'all eat? What bars did you go to? Like at some point we're going to have to develop, you know, tips for people who are traveling in. Give me some specifics on that, even if it's just.
Yeah, totally. I mean, so we spent most of our time in the Country Club Plaza area. Mm-hmm. So that is close to Hillcrest, close to Mission Hills where we played. And it's just kind of a nice part of town. It's where the partner hotel, you know, where you know, we kind of have a relationship and can just
got a cheesecake factory.
And there'll be, yeah. Or is it cheesecake? There's all the hits. I think there's a fogo de chao. We did not eat at any of those places while we were in town, though, I will say. Yeah, no, let's see. We ate at the club. We ate at Jack Stack, which is one of the top barbecue spots in the city. I believe I did a little bit of research, got some, tried to confirm my internet searching with local recommendations, and that got the thumbs up. So we hit there.
It's got good sides for sure. Yeah. Jack's kind of known as like, it's a sit down barbecue place. It's a restaurant.
Right. That's right. Which, a lot of barbecue spots are like LC's, where we went there earlier, or, they could literally be just a shack out in a parking lot, and you're eating outside, which is an awesome experience in and of itself, but not what you're looking for on Saturday night with a huge group or whatever. But so, yeah, we did that. Jack Stack. We went to the Peanut, one of the bars in the area, which was highly recommended. Apparently it's the oldest. I heard it was the oldest establishment in town. Someone who knows if I did not verify that with any, investigative journalism separately, but regardless, it was an awesome time. And I think a favorite of a lot of folks that are in the area as well.
It's a great bar.
Yeah. But overall, it's a great area. And this is, what I think many people will use, if they aren't eventually staying in cottages on site at Hillcrest, that area will be kind of the home base or the natural jumping off point. And it is a great spot, tons of bars and restaurants, shops, just kind of a lively nightlife, lively during the daytime, and is a great spot to set up when you're coming into the city, and super convenient to Hillcrest, which of course is a huge plus. So yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Awesome. Anything else on Arbor Links? I'm sure it's both.
Yeah, I suppose we should hit on Arbor Links too. We wanted to really give a sense of the Kansas City visit, because obviously I'm sure folks out there are thinking about joining Hillcrest, or want to learn more about the progress there. But yeah, it was great. I mean, every signature event is awesome, but this one was certainly no exception. So a bunch of us headed up to Arbor Links outside of Omaha. So just a little drive north from Kansas City. As I mentioned, it's a dorming club or dorming network course and site. So we stayed on site there, and yeah, I mean, they just do such a great job. Course was great, in great condition. The full setup with the cottages and the clubhouse is incredible. So, we got there, ate lunch, played 18, then went back out as a sixsome, played, like a 5 or 6 hole loop, just doing a little, some other games, betting some links, as one does when you're on the golf course. And then came back to the clubhouse, and then they have a great setup where 3 of the cottages are around this single green, and it's fully lit. So I think we were hitting wedge shots into the screen until past midnight. But you can hit, it's like up to 100 yards or something. So, just messing around, getting even more swings in, having a few drinks out by the green. And then we were up the next morning, breakfast, more golf, lunch, and then we were out. So, I mean, it's a great itinerary, kind of a lunch to lunch, get 2+ rounds in, plus some other golf sicko, reps in as well. And the crew is amazing, as always, at all of these Links to All events. So yeah, absolutely loved it. I know you've been to some dorming properties before. This was my first time, actually, but like I said, they do a great job. And it will be essentially the same itinerary when we're going down to Tree Farm later this year. So really looking forward to that as well. We talked about how we're doing some bigger events this year, fewer but bigger events, extending to multi-day, on-site lodging and everything. So, these are part of that, and certainly have been a ton of fun so far.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you for recapping that for everybody. I know people are super excited to hear what went on. I know you'll share some more stuff probably later on, either in written form or visual form. So yeah, thanks for keeping people updated on what's happening over at Hillcrest. Let's talk about the Procore real quick, and then we'll conclude with just a quick Punchbowl check-in. I think it's always kind of interesting to see how we're thinking about the courses we've played. I think it's been a pretty good year for both of us in that regard. So Procore wise, I'm sure you didn't watch the whole tournament because you were out doing stuff at Hillcrest, but I think you said you caught the end. And man, like that's a pretty big gut punch for Mr. Ben Griffin. I mean, I don't think there's ever a time that Scottie is in sniffing distance on Sunday that I don't feel confident Scottie's going to win. He just, it's funny to see the discourse now shift even further in the is Scottie Tiger direction, because he starts now to have the aura that Tiger had. And I think you could tell the players are scared of him. And, and I think whether or not he cares about winning or not, he's a competitor, and that if he's anywhere close, he's going to turn it on. And he did. I mean, Ben Griffin, shot a 64 first round, 66 in round 2, and then a pair of 70s that just weren't enough. But I think this is probably the part that you caught coming down the stretch. You're like, I can't wait to get some more golf. Maybe we'll get a playoff. And he 3-putted at 18, had a chance to tie it, and just kind of let Scottie off the hook. And I think you could discuss if that's good or bad experience for the Ryder Cup. Obviously, the reason we're talking about this in the first place is because all but 2 of the Ryder Cup players were playing in this event. There's also some Jackson Coyben stuff I want to get to, but I don't know. What do you think?
That was the question I had for you. Do you think Ben Griffin missing and losing in kind of bad fashion and Scottie winning, is that good for the Ryder Cup team, bad for the Ryder Cup team, or indifferent, doesn't matter?
Probably at the end of the day, indifferent doesn't matter, but I think there's 2 sides to it, right? One is I know myself that having no experience with like pressure competitive golf, which until this year, I just need to play some matches, and it's so different. Like it's so different to feel that pressure. And obviously Ben Griffin has felt that pressure since he was a little kid playing in all of these competitive events. But the way that it ended, it's almost like, Keegan designed this, but it felt like a match. I mean, he had to make a putt to force a half. And will that be good that he's like, all right, well, I felt that pressure, and now the next time I have this opportunity, I have the tools to deal with it? Or does that trend in I didn't rise to the occasion? I don't know. I don't know what's in his head. I don't know what's in his heart, Chris. But I can say that it was something to watch. I would feel much better if he made the putt. I'll be honest with you. But it also, though, on the same token, it shows that, hopefully Scottie, unlike Tiger in the Ryder Cup, we're going to need a big weekend out of Scottie, and he's still that dude. So we'll see. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think on the margin would have been nice for Ben Griffin to get the confidence boost of a win going into the Ryder Cup. Scottie, of all of the golfers in the universe, probably does not need a confidence boost. I think he's going to be fine either way. But like you said, probably just a marginal difference. And, at a minimum, Ben Griffin was like in contention, playing very well that week. And that's a good thing for one of the guys that wasn't a lock for the team, making sure he's, in good form going into the Ryder Cup next week. So take that as a good sign.
For sure. And I'm a little bit much more worried about the handful of guys down the list and how they finished who are coming up on the Ryder Cup, because this was a pretty easy field. And when everyone except for 4 of the Ryder Cup players are getting beat by Matt Kuchar, no offense to Matt Kuchar, shout out Bridgestone, but it's kind
shout
of
out Georgia Tech.
Right? But absolutely go Yellow Jackets. A couple of things on the leaderboard though that are interesting. One, I really like Lanto Griffin. I hadn't seen him on TV very often. I don't know that much about him. I like his game.
Great name.
And then Jackson Coyben, who we should all know now from the Walker Cup, and obviously he's a tremendous amateur. He's been playing great. I mean, he T4 in this tournament. He's going back to Auburn this year, going to try to win a national championship. He's not going pro, which, based on what happened at Dunlap, probably the right call. I know there's been some discussion of if he's top 10ing in PGA Tour events, well, he just needs to go pro. There's the whole thing of, well, what happens if Cooper Flagg, just went back, got to go back and play in the NCAA tournament this year? Completely different situation. Seems like he has a good plan, and hopefully that means a better career. But he looks like that dude. I'm excited to see his career play.
Yeah, no, his finishes have been very good and continually getting better too. Like I think he edged, he's edged better in every tournament. I think in the last like 6 or so. I think had a T11 right before this, I want to say, and then now in the top 10. So pretty strong, and yeah, I mean, exciting to have some new names coming up, and hopefully we'll be in contention and throw some new intrigue into the mix for next season, or whenever it is that he's playing a full schedule. But definitely awesome to see.
Yeah, it's fun watching these amateurs show up like this. And then the only last thing I'll say is seeing Max Homa T19 felt good to see his name up higher on a leaderboard. Seeing Patrick Cantley at T30, not super exciting. Harris English at T43, Colin Morikawa at T43. Yeah, the whole point of being out there was to get in shape for next weekend, and it didn't feel great, especially with the Europeans out there on our soil right now playing Bethpage Black. Rory just like slinging drives on one over those trees. I'm nervous, but we'll save all that for the Ryder Cup preview pod. We'll do that next week. We're gonna have tour picks on again, so super excited to get some of his insights, both from like a data and a betting perspective on what to look out for a Ryder Cup. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed so you'll get notified that next week on the Ryder Cup preview. All right, let's close out here. I just want to do a quick check-in, Chris. We haven't talked about what golf courses we played. I think the best vehicle to do this is Punchbowl Top 10. So I'm looking at my Punchbowl app right now. There have been some changes since the last time we talked about this. I'm excited. So first,
do you want to give the people a rundown of what Punchbowl is before we jump in, for anyone who's not aware?
Was just going to do it. Trying to make this natural, So first, what is Punchbowl? Punchbowl is an app that allows you to keep track of what golf courses you've played, as well as rate those golf courses, sort of puts them in matchups. It's a super easy way. It's no 5 stars, none of that. It's just, you say you played the course, you give it a quick rating. Either it was bad, it was okay, or it was great. And then it immediately puts them in these matchups, kind of hot or not for golf courses. And then it auto-calculates those rankings and puts them on a stacked ranked list, which then also creates a world list, so we can see sort of what do all the people who use Punchbowl say about the golf courses that they've played. It's still in test flight. It's very much sort of a fun side project. Obviously, like, we're super interested in golf courses. We're constantly evaluating golf courses. We're constantly learning from other golf courses and other clubs. So this is a fun way for us to figure out our own sort of outside the rating industrial complex, how we think about golf courses. So that is Punchbowl. I think Chris just shared the link there. You can join the test flight. It's completely free. If you have iOS, just go to Punchbowl, auto add yourself to the test flight and download it. And you're going to get lost for 30, 45 minutes, just keeping track of all the courses you played. So let's talk about the list then. So I've had some pretty significant changes since last time. So my number one is still my number one, Sweetens Cove Golf Club. Again, Punchbowl is whatever you want it to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most architecturally significant. You're not evaluating this from a rater's perspective. It's really asking you, what do you like more? And you can define that however the hell you want to. The data figures it out. Sweetens Cove, though, still remains my favorite golf property to be at, and that's how I think about it. Royal Dornick, still number 2. Played that last year. That is still my second favorite golf course in the world. Now some new entrants. Lookout Mountain at number 3, the Seth Rayner out near Chattanooga. I could spend every day there for the rest of my life. If they gave me a job as a caddy, I would take it. Lookout Mountain, easily my number 3. Another new one from this year, Prairie Dunes out in Hutchinson, Kansas. I liked Lookout Mountain. Probably what gave the edge was because it's in Georgia technically, but it's close to Tennessee. It feels like more my vibe. And I also got my absolute teeth kicked in by Prairie Dunes. I shot like a 98 in the morning with my modern clubs, and I think I shot like a 93 in the afternoon with Persimmons. The wind, it's a tough test golf course, but I loved it. Cruden Bay, number 5, Tobacco Road, number 6, Spey Bay, number 7. obviously talking our own books a little bit there, but I don't know. I sincerely think that the Bay Area property is my 7th favorite golf course to be on in the world. I just love being out there. Another new entrant, Country Club Buffalo. I was born in Buffalo, big Bills fan, go to Buffalo a lot. Finally had a chance to play it thanks to the hosting of a wonderful member out there. And it's just a great club. It's like a proper locker room. Chris, it reminds me of some of the courses up near your area. It's old. It's a Donald Ross course. So with Hillcrest, it's fun always to play a Donald Ross course. Has some great par threes. And just after the round, really cool bar grill situation. Had some local Buffalo beers and some chicken wings and some pizza logs. And I enjoyed the hell out of that place. Bethpage Red is number 9. That got pushed down a little bit. And then rounding out my top 10 is Mid Pines in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Another Donald Ross. So that makes, 2 Donald Rosses in my top 10. Absolutely love that place. It's my 2nd favorite place in the North Carolina area, which is one of my favorite places to play golf in the world. And all of these top 10 are world ranked top 100s. So there's not like a lot of out of consensus, but my rankings clearly put them out of consensus. Like Royal Dornick is number 1 in the world in Punchbowl. I have it as number 2. I have Lookout Mountain number 3. It's 100. Prairie Dunes 4. It's 120. Obviously, some of this is because, the more people play courses, sort of the higher they rank, which is what we want. And then I have Bethpage at 9, Bethpage Red at 9, and it's 123rd in the world, where obviously Bethpage Black is higher. So, Chris, that's my rundown. Give me your top 10 list. Point out any new courses you played this year, and anything else you want to share here.
Yeah, I was going to extend further down because it's funny. I've played a bunch of great courses this year, but just looking at the list, not a ton of change in the top 10. So actually, just looking at it here, my entire top 8 was steady from courses I played last year, but starting at 9, I have Nairn and Castle Stewart and Capit Highlands, which are both from, a Spey Bay trip earlier this year. Both awesome courses. Loved both of them. Also, both different styles and also different than, Spey Bay or another kind of traditional links course. But loved both of them. Both good courses and good experiences. When I do my ratings, I've kind of made the internal rule that I'm doing it just on the course, not overall experience or the club or what have you. Everyone's obviously free to choose whatever they like. You think about it a little differently, which is perfectly fine. But so just going purely on the course, had those 2 in my top 10. And then those are the only changes to the top 10, but then a bunch or some additional ones kind of extending out into the top 20. So played Beverly Country Club in Chicago earlier this year. Olympia Fields, the North Course, cracked my top 20. Capit Highlands Old Petty, which we talked about a couple of podcasts ago. Yep, broke into my top 20.
Where do you have that in the top 20?
So it's number 19 currently.
Me too. It's also my 19.
Oh,
which I'm actually kind of surprised by because we talked about while playing it. This is what's kind of cool about Punchbowl is it forces these decisions, right? You're presented with, do you like this or do you like that better? I don't think I would have ranked it in my top 20 if I was just blindly ranking it, but it's, I think it's fair that I liked it better than Common Ground, The Fields, Stream Song Red, Dormy Club. So it makes sense, but I also have it at 19.
Yeah. And it is funny, in preparation for this podcast, I was, scanning through the lists, which I hadn't done a full scan in a while. And I do think, as probably need to every once in a while, I need to re-rank some courses or go through and just rethink, right? Obviously you play new courses or you have different thoughts about how you'd rank courses after another year of playing at a bunch of different places. That might change how you think about it or how you'd stack rank it or, head-to-head rank it one versus another course. So I probably am due for some more of that, which, could shift the rankings around a little bit more as well. But overall, I think it's doing a good job of representing my personal ranking as it stands today, which is always fun.
Do you feel if someone asked you, what are your favorite golf courses? Do you feel comfortable sharing them this list? Like, is it reflective of your stack rank And obviously, like, the differences between 2 and 3 can be very minor, right? But you feel like this is emblematic of the golf courses that you love?
Yeah, I found it to be very good at ranking the top. And perhaps that's because I give more thought to it, or maybe it's just clearer distinctions at the very top of the list. So yeah, like sharing my top 10, I think that would be very representative of what my top 10 courses I've ever played are and how I would stack rank them. I do think it gets a lot more jumbled, as it should, I guess, as you get further down the list, where there's times where I'll scroll through and be like, I'll see one course above another course on the list and think, well, would I actually rank them? Or would I actually put them in that order? And part of that's just because, you don't rank every single, you don't, it's like if you have 100 courses on your list, you don't rank a new one against all 100 courses, right? It's kind of doing the math on all the head-to-head matchups that you do. So I think there's some, there's some shifting around there. And that's probably the biggest thing when I go in and I'll see, that one, I don't know if that one seems in the right spot. I'm noticing it's ahead of this other course, which doesn't seem right. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go in and re-rank, and, it kind of freshens things up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it does a really good job of, at least like the top, especially, like, representative of how that list looks to me.
Yeah. And I think that, like, that tension is by design, right? Because, like, we could easily just present the UI of type in the courses you've played, now drag them in the order that you want, right? Yeah. But, like, the idea, especially when it comes to the world rankings, which I'll talk about in a second, the idea is to, like, get as much to your actual thought as possible, right? This whole ranking algorithm comes from chess. If you've ever seen a social network, it's also present in the face smash situation that he gets kicked out of Harvard for, I guess put on probation at Harvard for. But the idea is that it should, like, very authentically understand sort of the power rankings vis-a-vis these head-to-head matchups. And there's obviously a whole bunch of algorithmic ranking happening in the background. But the hope then is that it gets at a little bit more what's true than just, like, you sitting there and wanting to, like, vanity stack rank. Like, well, what does it mean that I like Kenny Perry's golf course in rural Kentucky more than I like Kingsbarns in Scotland? I don't think if I was choosing to do that, I would stack rank that only for vanity and optics. But I mean, in every head-to-head matchup, it scored higher. So that's kind of also what makes it fun. So check out Punchbowl. I will say the world rankings real quick before we wrap up. So one of the cool things then is we can take all the aggregate data and we can turn that into a world ranking. Right now, it's Royal Dornoch, Royal County Down. We got a ton of UK golfers in our user base, obviously. Bandon Dunes, Pack Dunes, Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, Bandon Dunes, Bandon Trails, Bandon Dunes, Bandon Dunes, Bethpage Black, Pinehurst number 2, and then Cruden Bay. So, a lot of Scotland representation, obviously a lot of Bandon representation, a lot of West Coast representation. And then the only 2 courses outside of that are Bethpage Black and Pinehurst 2. So, again, what's cool about the app is you can definitely go through and you can, scroll through these world lists, discover new courses. We got a bunch of lists in there in the Explore tab where you can, also find new courses, public courses, US Open venues, that kind of stuff. So give it a try if you haven't used it yet. Again, we love learning about this kind of stuff because we love thinking about golf courses. So if you have any feedback, hit us up in Discord. And if you haven't used it, go to punchbowl.golf and join the test play.
Yeah, and I'll also say share with your friends if you got friends that like playing new courses or played a bunch of courses like our golf architecture or whatever. Don't have to be link style members or anything. Anyone can jump on the app. But Greg just went through the list. It definitely skews more towards places that you can play, public access, and part of that is just because more people that have the app that play those courses, they get more ratings, so on and so forth. But the more ratings we get, the more courses we get, just makes all of the data better across it. And so will be fun to see how that evolves too. So definitely share with friends, try it out if you haven't already. It's very fun to jump in. I think especially the first time when you're doing it greenfield and start, throwing out all the courses you've ever played and see, give some critical thought to how you would rank them against each other.
Yeah, I mean, I was last night at the sim club. The guy in the bay next to me was telling his friend about this like 380 list long Excel spreadsheet that he keeps as they were talking about golf courses they played. And I showed it to him. He was like, "This is awesome." He downloaded it. You could like tell he like just stopped talking. He was just, it's like Tinder swiping, right? You're just like sitting there and you're just tapping. So it is a fun thing, and love to hear your feedback if you have it. So, Chris, let's wrap up here. Thanks everyone for tuning in this week. Shout out to our very special guest who was able to come on and tell us his perspective of the Kansas City trip as well. That was great. Shout out to Cooper, who hopefully is going to go out there and go low today for the entire state of New Jersey. And shout out obviously to Chris, as always, for showing up and being interesting. And shout out to everyone who listened and watched. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. Remember, check out Hillcrest memberships, especially after hearing more about the trip. If you have any questions, I'm sure Chris, Cooper, or me would love to talk to you about Hillcrest and how great it's going to be. So if you're on the fence about joining, please do reach out. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. You can also check out Instagram and YouTube for Hillcrest and Spade Bay updates. Obviously, we have the Ryder Cup YouTube video on Spade Bay up there now. So go give that a watch if you haven't. Hit us up in Discord with any guest ideas, hot takes, feedback, questions you have. And as always, follow the pod, leave a review, and we will see y'all next time. Appreciate it.
See y'all.